I suppose one of the things I was wondering with that was, is there a different way of framing that? Because it is an emotion, I guess, where you have these physical signs from your body. So you might feel trembling, you might feel like excitement, your endorphins going a bit crazy, maybe getting adrenaline. And one of the things I've learned from meditation is if you sort of take a step back out of your mind and just feel the bodily emotions, there's not a lot separating that from, for example, from happiness, the joy you'll get from being on a roller coaster or something like that.
Yeah.
Very similar physical signs in the body. So me mentally was thinking, okay, is there a way of actually framing fear so that it can become like not something that's an unpleasant emotion, it's an emotion and you can use that or change that into just, I suppose, a different framing. One of my biggest fears was social interaction, and particularly interacting with girls. And one of the things my dad recommended to me when I was a youngster, so like 15, 14 maybe, his recommendation was essentially fake it till you make it. And he basically said, look, one of the ways you can go up and do this is pretend like you're acting. So act like as if you're an actor and say things that an actor would say. And then if the girl rejects you or whatever, they're not rejecting you as the person, they're rejecting this persona you've created. And while that might be helpful,
get dangerous.
While that might be helpful in getting you out and getting started, obviously the downside is you're never going to be able to be yourself. You're always going to have this personality of someone else. And, you know, just having that, I guess, split personality and creating it yourself would easily lead to very long-term, I suppose,
issues. So if you're an individual who is quite fearful, or you're shy, or you're reserved, you might think that someone who's confident or courageous doesn't really feel fear. I think that's if you think about it straight away, it doesn't feel fear. But, you know, it's often the case that a courageous person or someone who is quite confident fears just as much as any other individual. They just make the decision to go ahead and do that particular thing that they're being fearful of. So I think one of the other items that I saw was the law of reservation, I believe it was. The law of reversibility. So it's actually essentially disciplining yourself to do that specific action over and over again until the fear is still there, but you've built enough courage and tolerance to it that you're able to just continue doing it.
All it took for me was like 3 months of going to the gym, and I started to gain the confidence that I so desperately was in need of. And that was the trigger for me to start getting out and approaching people and then approaching girls and just becoming a lot more socially interactive than before. So I can't really, it's kind of a hard one because the techniques that should have worked didn't particularly work. And it was focusing on something totally different else in my life, which was what helped me, I guess, gain confidence somewhere else that allowed me to apply that confidence to this other aspect of my life. I think it was, I guess, one of the building blocks that really stopped me from talking with people and with girls in particular was like, I'm weak, I'm skinny, how they're going to ever love me, that sort of thing, or like me or whatever. And I think at least knowing that I was fixing that other part of my life, that social, that psychic thing that was holding me back, I think then allowed me to I guess overcome that next step of putting into place actions to get out and make myself, I suppose, more socially active. Okay. And that was, so it was like the gradual bit, and then there was a line in the sand moment where I was like, okay,
that's it.
Stuff this, I'm going to go out and I'm going to
make some decisions.
I'm going to talk to a girl today.
The one I'm about to say, though, is something that I still have fear about, and it's because I haven't attempted to even beat it, and it is needles.
Needles.
I hate needles. To the point, I'm sure my mum's going to listen to this. When I was super young, when I was, 6 years old, 7 years old, in Colombia, they would come and give needles to like kids. And vaccinations. One particular story is I was the first in line to get the vaccination. And when I saw what it was coming, I like just screamed, sprinted out of the room, like started hiding everywhere. And it freaked every other kid out. Like everyone was going nuts. Like everyone's going to get killed. And I was like, oh man, dang. I think innate fears are okay. I don't think you don't have to really realistically get rid of them unless they're really impacting your life. So I would say that arachnophobia might be an innate fear. Like, you could be born with that. That's just something that happened, not something that you might have never seen a spider, but you're still like deathly afraid of them.
Yeah.
And like, it's not good to have it, but it's also not going to impact your life super dramatically.
Yeah.
Similarly, I think there's a phobia. I don't even know what the phobias are called, but there's one about like really large things. So like really large monsters or huge things.
Well, it's just doesn't even have to be monsters. It could be like a mountain, right? Just the thought of a mountain.
It can be like, oh, too big. So that again, like, it's innate fear, I think. I don't particularly think it's learned. Not particularly, like, it might not be affecting your life too hugely, but then there's learned fears about driving. You know, learned fears about maybe using your phone. Learned fears about people. You know, those sort of things I don't think are innate. Like, as a human being, you're not born as a baby and you're like, damn, this goddamn doctor's scaring me or something. Like, I don't think that generally happens. So I think I was going to go, innate fears I think are okay unless they're impacting your life. I think learned fears, though, you can do something about them probably, you know, whatever it may be, quite a high percentage of the time. And you should probably try to get rid of as many as possible of those learned fears.
One was like the very fact you fear something is solid evidence it's not happening. So if you think about it, fear is usually something that happens before the event. If you're getting into a car crash, you're not fearing death or the car crash in that instance. You're just reacting.
Yep.
But if you're fearing something beforehand and it's not even present in the room with you, that does sort of suggest it's a mental thing that you can and should be trying to fix.
Yep.
The second was, like you were saying, what you fear is rarely what you think you fear. It is what you link to fear.
Okay.
So, if you're absolutely scared of, I don't know, losing your keys or something, it might not be you're scared of losing your keys. You're scared of, oh, maybe I have dementia or something. So it's something that, like you mentioned, if you keep going down onto the why, you'll probably hit like a base one. So for the elevator one, it's not the mechanics of the elevator, it's the small enclosed space.
One of the things that the SAS and the SBS do, which is the Special Air Force Service and the Special Boat Service, I think, of the UK's Special Forces.
Yeah.
One of the tactics that they do is, and they learn is deep breathing, 2 deep breaths when something's going completely haywire out in the field. So one of the things that can be really, really troublesome when you're fighting in war or whatever else is that you've got 100 things happening. You know, you're going to have all these massive emotions coming over you and you don't know what to go first with, like what's going to be the priority. You've got overloading of information. So they're taught to take stock, take 2 deep sort of 3-second breaths, analyze the situation. So a little bit of sort of knowledge taking. So gather as much knowledge as you can in this sort of time, slow down your breathing, slow down your reactive sort of nature of the amygdala and go to your more thinking process, hippocampus style, and then go, okay, cool, prioritize. Bang, 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 and then go forth with it.
Fears as well, they don't necessarily go away once you've overcome them.
No, and I think we should really end it on that because I think it's the whole thing that we're talking about is now it's called overcoming fear, but just being mindful. It's the confidence and the courage to keep on doing things even though there's fear there.